today we're going to talk about insurance. I know you're like, this is boring, it's snooze, but really it's not, because guess what? When it happens to you, you want to know the answers. As a realtor, and I know you have a license as well, we come across clients that have insurance claims, and sometimes I have to say to them, don't call your insurance company quite yet. Talk to the person that wrote your policy. Ask them first, do you think that this makes sense to make a claim?
In insurance policies, there's so much information. If I were to go talk to somebody through the entire application, all the questions, everything, I could be on the phone with them for, no joke, 4, 5, 6 hours.
What? How?
Most deductibles are on a per policy basis, but there are sometimes insurance policies that'll have deductibles on a per occurrence basis.
If I make a claim, what is that going to do to my insurance policy? Is it going to raise my rates?
A lot of people, especially now, are hiring public adjusters or property insurance attorneys. If you hire an attorney and you make a claim and you file a lawsuit against the insurance company, good luck.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week, we talk about something that will help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world that we live in. And today, we're going to talk about insurance. I know you're like, this is boring, it's snooze, but really it's not, because guess what? When it happens to you, you want to know the answers. So today we're talking with Brandon Felder from the Felder Insurance Group, and he's going to help us understand claims a little bit better. Welcome, Brandon.
Laura, how's it going?
It's always great because I'm in real estate. endless opportunities.
I love it. I love it. I'm trying to be witty and think of something that rhymes with insurance, but I can't. So it's great over here too.
Something that rhymes with insurance is perseverance. No?
Deference.
Insurance creates deference. Deference and maintenance can create insurance. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get back to the point here. We're talking about insurance claims, and clearly, as a realtor, and I know you have a license as well, we come across clients that have insurance claims, and sometimes I have to say to them, don't call your insurance company quite yet. Talk to the person that wrote your policy, like yourself, and say, ask them first, do you think that this makes sense to make a claim? Am I wrong?
You are, in my opinion, very, very correct.
Once you call Citizens, or you call Edison, or you call any of them, the minute you say the word claim, even if nothing happens and it does not move forward, you now have a claim hitting your policy.
Correct. And all of those claims get put into a database. There's actually 2 different databases, and it's kind of like Carfax. You know, if you buy a car, everyone says, let's look at the Carfax. Were there any accidents on the car? We're going to see the maintenance records, all of those things. Same thing happens for claims, in that there's a back-end claims database. One is called A+, one is called LexisNexis, and they keep this list of all the claims that are made to a property and a person. Sometimes claims follow the property, sometimes the person, sometimes both.
So funny you should say this, but we are working on a deal together right now where I have the listing. I referred you to the buyer's agent, and you came back and said that there's a claim. 2 claims.
2.
Now, 2 claims, yes. So, and I always encourage my sellers to make sure to put those claims on the seller's disclosure, because number one, insurance typically, if it's within 5 years, will be a little bit more expensive. And if you disclose this up front, I feel like that's okay if the policy is a little more because you've disclosed it. Would you not agree?
Yeah. So with a lot of carriers, they're going to quote based on like a claims-free discount. And when it's a person buying a new home, we may not know that there was a claim on the property. So in this case, we didn't know. I didn't know because I was working with this buyer, even though she was referred to me through you. And it came up that there's 2 claims on the property. So the rate goes up a little bit, but also sometimes it's an eligibility thing. A lot of carriers say, there was a claim on this house. We don't want to touch it. There was 2 claims on this house. Let's back up even further. We really don't want to touch it. And so in this scenario, this Laura, is huge. Insurance, just like real estate, is all about who you know. And the underwriters that you can get in touch with, just like the clients and people you can get in touch with to get business, the relationships that I have on the carrier side are just as important to my business as getting the clients in, because then I'm able to get some of these things pushed through because they know, okay, this agent's doing things the right way. He's upfront about things, so on and so forth. But it really, really matters what's on that seller's disclosure. I believe it's section 10 of the seller's disclosure. For any realtors listening, you want to make sure if you're the listing agent, that they're filling that out correctly. If you're the buyer's agent, that you're reviewing it correctly. And any claims that come up in that seller's disclosure, ask about them, ask how much they were, ask what they're there for, what caused the claim. And then I would say more importantly than any of those things is, do you have any proof of remediation or repairs? You definitely want to get that for the buyer, which can sometimes help on the back end to get things pushed through underwriting.
Do you ever ask to see the seller's disclosure though?
No, for us, it doesn't really matter. Because remember, I'm typically working with the buyer. So they would have to go get it. And a lot of times sellers don't even fill out a seller's disclosure because, as you know, the state doesn't require that form. So I don't ask for it typically.
Okay. So it's funny though, in this particular instance, the girl knew that there was a claim because she read the seller's disclosure. And spoke to another insurance agent. And then I said, well, go ahead and give you a call. So it's funny that she didn't disclose that to you, but listen, that happens sometimes. And what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, in insurance policies, there's so much information that if I were to go talk to somebody through the entire application, all the questions, everything, I could be on the phone with them for, no joke, 4, 5, 6 hours.
What? How?
Easily. I mean, just look at the coverage A. How did you come up with the coverage A amount? How did you come up with the dwelling amount? Explaining the replacement cost estimator, what's in the replacement cost estimator. Let's look at every single piece of the replacement cost estimator to see how they came up with that number. And let's talk about the values versus the real estate values, the land value, so on and so forth. And let's just talk about if my other structures coverage is correct. And is the property actually 1,400 square feet based on what the property appraiser says, or did we get an appraisal back that measured every room of that? You could go on and on and on easily.
So, okay, quick question then. What's your liability in this? Because there seems like there's a lot of information that you wouldn't know. So how do you guys CYA?
So there's a couple ways. I mean, I make sure to hit as much as I can with a client. In addition to that, every person that buys an insurance policy, they're going to get an email from me, and they're going to get their insurance application. And in that email and that application, it explains everything we spoke through. It's their responsibility to make sure they're reviewing their documents, just like a real estate document. Are they reviewing their documents? But they have to sign that document. So if they sign it and they don't review it, or they don't have somebody like myself that's talking them through what's in there, it can be a little bit rough for some people. Second to that is just like you, Laura, we have E&O insurance,
Right?
Or at least you should have E&O insurance.
Yes. So tell me, what are some other things that people should look out for when making a claim? Number one, I pointed out, call your insurance agent, not your insurance carrier. There's a difference. And sometimes I have to ask my client, who was your agent? And they're like, Farm Bureau. I'm like, no, that's who has your coverage. Yeah. Who was the person that helped you put you with Farm Bureau? Just like you had one of my clients that said, I'm going to go to State Farm first. And you're like, well, have fun with that and get back to me when they tell you no.
Yeah. So, couple things to look out for. I mean, one, you want to have an agent that at the beginning that you're buying your policy, they're going over the quote with you and saying, here's what's covered, here's what's not. If you decide to purchase X coverage, it's going to be this much more, this much less. And so they understand what they're getting. And then second is knowing your deductibles. and knowing, okay, if I make a claim, am I even covered? If I have a fridge water leak and I have to make a claim for $5,000, but my deductible is $5,000, is it worth it? Because now I have a claim on my record. That happened to a close friend of mine. Now, same thing with hurricane deductibles, but most deductibles with most policies, not all, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Most deductibles are on a per policy basis, but there are sometimes insurance policies that'll have deductibles on a per occurrence basis. Now, because most policies are on a per policy basis, let's say you have a $20,000 hurricane deductible and you have a bunch of storm damage from a hurricane and it's $15,000, okay, in damage. The insurance carriers are going to still go ahead and make that claim. You're going to get denied, but now because it's a per policy deductible, if another storm comes through, you only have $5,000 left on your deductible.
Right, but you just said that got denied.
Yeah, the first claim is going to get denied because it's less than $20,000. However, it's going to play into your deductible amount.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. Like, if you're saying
So-
if you have a claim for $15,000, right? You make a claim, you're saying it's going to be denied. Now, you said it's per policy, not per occurrence.
Correct. So if you have another claim within that policy period, you're now at $15,000 of your $20,000 deductible.
But how? They denied it. I didn't get the money.
Because it was they're going to deny it because it didn't hit the deductible threshold. But because the claims are on a per policy basis, you have now helped get up to that.
So you're saying then
$15,000.
if the next claim is 5,000, then they'll give me the 20?
No, let's say the next claim was also $15,000.
Okay.
Well, then they're going to say, all right, well, you have $5,000 left in your deductible. Now here's $10,000.
Oh, I see what you're talking. Oh, you're talking about, okay. I thought you were talking about okay, I get what you're saying now. I hear what you're saying. So, okay. So I see what you're saying. That makes sense. I didn't even, you know what? That's something new today that I've learned. That's something good to know, because I would think that sometimes if a claim doesn't make sense to make it, right? My deductible's 20 and I'm making a claim for 15, but now if nothing happens again that year, right? You also have to weigh the pros and cons of what if we're in October?
Yeah. And it also depends on when your policy period starts and ends. I mean,
Right.
if your policy period starts at,
That's true too.
the beginning
Yeah,
of
start in
hurricane
October.
season,
Yeah.
and there's a storm early on, well, you might want to make that hurricane claim. But if it's, if your policy period starts at the end of hurricane season, it might change it for you. The worst is when it starts in the middle, because then you're cutting off that time. But it's important to know that, and most people don't know that your deductible is per policy.
All right. Well, let's go to commercial break. And when we come back, let's talk about, well, if I make that claim, what effect does it have on my policy? Does it have an effect? So we're going to check out our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, because people always ask this question. Stay tuned.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FIRPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111 Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our number one priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. We are talking about insurance and insurance claims, and we have one of our amazing sponsors, Brandon Felder, with the Felder Insurance Agency. Welcome back, Brandon. I am trying to understand, or help the audience understand, if I make a claim, what is that going to do to my insurance policy? Is it going to raise my rates? And the answer to that question is, it depends on the insurance carrier. Oh, I can't hear you, Brandon.
It does depend. But,
okay.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to answer that question more with the answer of probably. So I want to liken this, and this might be a funny analogy, but I want to liken this to a criminal. And whenever you have a criminal, and let's say they commit one crime, and they go to court, the judge is probably going to be a little bit more lenient on them than somebody that has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 crimes. And the reason for that is typically because the chances are if you commit a crime, you might commit a crime again. And if you commit 5 crimes, the chances of you committing a crime statistically are a lot higher that you're going to keep committing crimes. And so insurance companies view this the same way. And so they say, okay, if somebody's willing to make a claim, they're probably going to make a claim again, or they might. A lot are might be okay with one claim. But when they start seeing 2, 3, 4, 5 claims, it becomes an issue. Now, second to that, a lot of people, especially now, are hiring public adjusters or property insurance attorneys. If you hire an attorney and you make a claim and you file a lawsuit against the insurance company, good luck. Good luck. Even if you win it and you get a $50,000 settlement, $100,000 settlement, a lot of insurance companies, they ask on that application that we talked about before the break, if you've made a claim and did you file a lawsuit? Were you a first party in a property insurance suit? They're not going to want to take you. And so, are your rates going to go up? Well, if they keep you, they may not on one claim. They might go up a little bit, but typically what happens is you get dropped. And if you get dropped by insurance company A, and the next best price is $2,000 more, then technically, yeah, your prices are going up.
So let's say, though, that there's a hurricane and you own 10 properties. And now 10 properties get hurt in the hurricane. They get damaged. Would that have the same effect as you making a claim because the pipe in the bathroom leaked all throughout and you had to rip the cabinet and the shower out? Would that affect you the same? Because now you have 10 claims within a short period of time on 10 homes. That's not your fault that a natural disaster happened.
Yeah, so technically, yes. However, this is where anybody that has 10 properties, I'm going to say to them, you want to put these properties in the name of like an LLC. Because sometimes that can protect you, because it's not going to show up as a claim for you, but it's going to show up as a claim for the LLC. This gets a little bit complicated, but on your own home, you want your own home to be insured in your name or your trust. If you have investment properties, I am always telling investors this: don't put those in your name. Put them in the name of an LLC, and then get liability insurance for the LLC, because you also don't want people to sue you directly if somebody falls on your rental property or the tenant complains about something and sues you. Put it in the name of an LLC. It's much smarter that way.
So I want to tell you about a quick story. So I was in a closing the other day, and the closing agent proceeds to tell my client that, oh, you're not in a flood zone, but you really should have flood insurance, because if your kitchen sink was to overflow, what do you think I said? First of all, Laura, you should not be correcting people, but I couldn't help myself.
No, you can correct them. When it comes to flood insurance,
where does it come from? Does not come from your sink.
Flood, in terms of insurance, is rising water from the outside. It's got to go from the street, up your driveway, up your front step into your house,
Not your washer dryer, not your sink, not your toilet.
Not your water.
No.
Yeah, that would all be under what we call water damage coverage. Now, there is a caveat here. There's something on policies that a lot of policies actually don't have, called water backup. And this is if water backs up into your house. Separate line item. So if the city does something and water starts backing up.
That is very common in the city of Oakland Park. Very common.
Yeah, so it goes back up into the house. That's a different line item than everything else in the policy. And so you got to have specific coverage for that.
So we all know, we don't all know, you and I know that getting water coverage, we're not talking about flood, getting water coverage is very difficult in today's market. And typically, most homes only have, if any, about $10,000 in water coverage. So this backup coverage that you're talking about, because that is very subjective. How do you prove that it came from the city versus maybe a toilet from the roof where it backs up? Mm-hmm. How do you prove it came from the city backing up? The city would have to acknowledge, correct, that they had a backup.
Yeah, so you asked this earlier, what happens when we make a claim? Well, I'm on the sales side. I'm not really involved in the claim. So let's say this happens and you make a claim. Well, the insurance carrier is going to send out a claims adjuster. And when they send out that claims adjuster, they should have all the proper tools to know how or what to determine what happened and what caused a claim. Typically, there are ways to figure out, just like a fire inspector can go into a property after there was a fire and pretty much figure out what caused the fire, where it came from. They're able to determine that. And sometimes this is why claims get drawn out, because one person's saying, oh, the public adjuster saying, no, it didn't come from water backup. It clearly came from here. Here's my tools. Here's my data. And the insurance carrier claims adjuster is saying, no, it came from here. Here's my data. And worst case, it's got to go to court. And then the judge is going to say, or some expert witness or something.
So, of course, like always, our time goes so fast and we run out of time. And honestly, I know for some people, this is boring until it's not. And it's realistically when it affects you. First of all, if you're a realtor or a realtor, you should be definitely listening to this, because you need this knowledge. Knowledge is power, and understanding insurance and having the go-to person to help you to make sure that everyone is understanding, and also getting deals closed is super important. What is a good number for people to reach out to you, Brandon?
My phone number is 954-326-9842.
Okay. And if you're looking for a top agent, somebody that understands the silliest of things, whether it be what is flood insurance versus needing water coverage, there's a difference. Definitely give me a call. My name's Laura Sanders. I'm with RE/MAX Direct. I've been with RE/MAX for 25 years. I'm a stable agent. I know what's going on, and I know how to get your home sold for the most amount of money possible. And my marketing is next to none. when you compare it across the lines. So give me a call, Laura Sanders, Remax Direct, 954-650-0827, or check me out on the web, lauracell.com. And again, thank you, Brandon, for being here tonight. And thank you for always listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders. Till next week.